Hey guys, it's Cthulthu here. So let's see, it's the 7th of February 2012. Today Jagex released an update called Potion Flasks, and that's exactly what this video is about. I'm going to check out the Potion Flasks to see how I get them and everything like that. So let's see. So firstly, right now I'm at Oo'glog, and that is basically central to this entire update. It is where you'll not only just mine the red sandstone, but also you'll make the actual flasks themselves here. So you will have to make sure you've done things like first resort quest to actually access this area and have the full tools necessary to actually make these flasks. What you'll also need is 81 mining to actually mine this rock that I am right now, the red sandstone rock, which was surprising to me. When I actually thought of this update, when I saw the update and read about it, I actually thought to myself, you know what, it's going to be really annoying, isn't it? It's a level 81 rock that you need to mine, and it's probably just going to take firstly ages to mine each and every single individual rock. And not only that, but I was imagining it would be like rune ore and addy ore and mithril ore, all the rest of it, where basically you'd have like 10 different single rocks, and would all be running around trying to mine it before each other, so it'd be like a competitive element to it. But it's not the case. It's just a single big rock, and it belongs to you basically. Can mine it as much as you want. You don't have to compete for the rocks, and they mine very quickly. And as you can see, I'm getting 70 experience for each one, which is not too bad. It's not something to really think about when you're doing something like this, but it's experience at the end of the day. So yeah, I got my level, not my level, I got my 50 red sandstone pretty quickly. As you can see, the rock does deform, well, it just deformed there, as you get closer to reaching your cap, and as you can see, that is actually the fully deformed rock now, so which means that I have actually reached my limit now, and I cannot mine that stone again until tomorrow, or maybe perhaps in an hour's time, because as I'm talking it is 11 PM at night now, so maybe the reset will happen. I'll be able to sell another load of flasks in a second. So yeah, well, now I'm actually in the city. So actually, just to talk about the red sandstone just a little bit more, it is just north of the city, as you saw there. It is just north of the shortcut basically, so it's very, very easy to locate. And then obviously you can use the shortcut to get back into the city like I just did, and you'll find this machine pretty close to that shortcut as well, just south of it, probably exactly south of the mining spot, with the exception of course the city wall in between it. So quite simply, you can actually just click the machine, but I wouldn't suggest doing that because then you'll have to talk to that dwarf guy. Simply just use your red sandstone with the machine. You'll be able to make the hardened glass, and then once you've done that, you need a glass blowing pipe to actually make the flask. So make sure you bring one along with you. I already have one in my tool belt. I definitely highly suggest you get a full tool belt for not just this situation, but for every situation, because already countless times I've seen myself, you know, really appreciating that I have everything in my tool belt, because it does come in handy. And this is definitely one of those cases. So I didn't need my glass blowing pipe. I've already got it with me, and I started making the flask straight away. 100 experience per flask made. So and you're only getting one flask per red sandstone, so you're only getting 50 a day, and that's it. That's simply it. And then let me see. So a little bit more about the flask. It's a 6-dose flask. So basically 2 more doses than a vial. So clearly it is very useful. It will multiply, you know, the amount of time that you can spend killing a certain boss by well, roughly by 100%. What am I talking? Why 100%? No, 50%. What am I talking about? So yeah, your trips will last a bit longer. Well, it will last 50% longer, which is pretty decent. And basically, that's pretty much it, I guess. Something that I did try is I tried to fill it up with water and see if I could actually make potions directly with it. That's something that you can't do. And then clearly, as you can see on the screen, what I also wanted to do, well, this was my primary objective, wanted to see how much they would sell for. And as you can see, the market price is 2,500, but they are selling for between 19 to 20k right now. So I ended up selling about 48 of my flasks, and I got 920k out of it, I believe. I wasn't looking for a specific price. I just sold them all for 2,500, and they all just happened to sell combined for 920k. So assuming that the reset does happen at midnight every day for GMTers, for people who live in England and Britain, basically, then it won't be long until I can make another million within 5 minutes, basically. So in terms of money, it's definitely a good plan. In terms of usage, I can only see people really making good use of these flasks at Corporal Beast and Nex, because those are the kind of situations where you might appreciate staying longer. For me, Corporal Beast, the only reason I would want to stay longer at Corporal Beast is because I hate having to get my supplies again, and probably having to miss a kill, because you know that there's just going to be that one time where you're resupplying and they get a divine and you're going to miss it, and I just hate the thought of that happening. So I want to bank as little as possible. It's not that banking is hard, it's not that banking takes a lot of time, it's just simply that by the time I get back, my team will have killed one Corporal Beast without me, and I don't really want to be missing drops at all. The other place is, of course, Nex, and that's because your resources do drain quite fast there. So the fact that you'll be able to stay there 50% longer is just fantastic. I don't see it being useful in many other areas, though. I mean, obviously, the first thing you might think about is God Wars, but then you have to start thinking about the price of the flasks, because right now, if I'm selling 50 flasks, well, I'm selling 48 flasks for 920k. And you're thinking to yourself, right, so I'm the kind of person, I've got a yak. Actually, before I just quickly go into that, what I just wanted to show you on screen there was that you can use overloads with the yak now, so you can put untradeable potions with the yak, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, just going back to what I was saying about God Wars. So let's say you do have a yak and you have lots of doses of potions in your inventory as well. So basically, you've got 58 spaces, and most of those spaces are going to be taken up by vials, by flasks rather, and that's 1 million basically. I think we can fairly easily say that it's going to cost you 1 million just for the containers, and that's it. Forget about the contents of those potions. The actual containers themselves are costing you 1 million. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth being able to spend 50% more time at Zamarok, at Bandos, at Armadillo? Is it going to be worth it in the long run? Is it just better to leave and get your kill count again and start over afresh, rather than being able to stay there for 50% longer, but at a huge cost? I mean, we're talking about a 5 GP vial, combined cost of maybe 100 GP in total. Well, that would be 20 vials, so let's see. So let's say 250 GP in vials compared to 1 million in flasks. And you have to remember that when I'm saying 1 million flasks, I really do mean that, because these flasks, they break after you use them. There's no way around it. You're going to lose these flasks. So, is it worth it for God Wars? You're going to have to tell me, you guys, because I don't think so. Not from my point of view, they're not going to be. For Nex and for Corporal Beast, which is basically, you're going to make a huge profit margin, it is worth saying that extra 50%, especially at Nex. God Wars, I don't think it's worth it. Any other activity? Definitely not worth it. I don't know if you can take flasks into Wilderness. It's something that I should have tested, but I didn't actually go and do that. So yeah, that's pretty much everything about flasks, and that's what I think about them. I think I've pretty much mentioned everything that I wanted to get out there. I myself, I want to start making flasks for overloads, but in regards to everything else, I don't think I'll bother. And also, as of right now, I think I'll just be using this as a way of making, as they said on the update post, a healthy profit. So that's exactly what I'll be doing. I'll be making my million every single day. I don't need the money. Do I want the money if it's that easily available? Hell yes. I'm sure everybody else would as well. Okay, and then so the last thing I wanted to mention was just the smaller update. So this is one of them. Apparently they made a few graphical improvements to Barrow's equipment once again, because there must have been a lot of complaints, or a lot of good suggestions, I guess, maybe. So they did change them. Honestly, I myself couldn't really see the changes, so I'm not too bothered. I mean, I still don't think they look as good as they used to. It's not the detail. The detail, obviously, there's a lot more detail in regards to how the armor looks. It's just that I don't like how dark it is. I liked the nice brown color of Barrows. So yeah, I preferred the old Barrows. I don't think I'm going to change my opinion on that. So I'm not too bothered about any improvements they made to it. And to be honest, I can't notice them at all. The last thing I want to mention is just the other updates. So, I mean, one of the updates, like I said, it was that you can now put tradable potions into your yak, and I see that being especially useful for special restores. I can definitely see myself, going to Bandos with a lot more special restores being in my yak, because you don't need food, and you do need prayer, but you only need a certain amount of prayer. And you could definitely do with killing Bandos faster for a longer period of time, and that's what being able to put special restores in your yak is going to do for you. Because let's be honest, who's ever gone to Bandos with special restores and found that the amount that they were able to bring in their inventory was enough for the trip? It's never enough. I always find myself lacking. I always find myself still at a Bandos trip, but wanting and not having more special restores. So it's nice that we can bring a lot more with us, and we can we can focus our day, our trip, more heavily focused on killing Bandos as fast as possible for as longer as possible. That's the only thing to mention. I mean, there were a few other things, but they're not really worth mentioning. It's in other news, so go read the article if you want to find out. But that's it, and until next time, guys, see you around.